Hello students, welcome to session 3 of wastewater management. Students, we discussed about the wastewater treatment plant. We also discussed about that what happens to the treated water, to the sludge, and how it should be disposed. Right? So now we need to study about one more important topic from the wastewater management point of view, and that is control of the sewage generation. So students, before beginning this topic, I would like to discuss something, that sanitation and hygiene, these are the two terms you must be familiar with it. So sanitation and hygiene are often considered to be the basic necessities of human beings, right? The backup of sewage is definitely unhygienic, and a red alert must be declared in order to clear it out. So students, apart from the intolerable stench, there are several health risks associated with the clogged sewer areas or sewers, as it contaminates our home, it contaminates our area, and it's an invasion by the microorganisms. So we should keep in mind that how we can clean this sewage, right? By getting rid of a backup of sewage can be disgusting job. So hence it is advisable that we should call a plumber. And after we witness a backup, our first step should be closing down of any form of running water, such as showers, sink, taps, etc., as flowing water will only worsen the problem, right? And next, open all windows and doors and turn on the fans. So in this way, if you think, then some of these steps can be taken to control the sewage generation. Students, you go out and get yourself a set of good surgical gloves, boots and masks. This will protect you from any hazardous contamination by microbes. And next, check the lateral pipelines and their chambers too. There is a strong probability that these might be clogged, and you will have to remove the obstructions with the help of a shovel. So if the internal systems within the house are clogged, then you will have to wait for the plumber. So a good alternative solution is to keep on adding small quantities of anti-clogging solutions to these drains, and the anti-clogging agents will give momentum on the matter within the drainage system, and this way we can control the sewage generation, right? So students, let us start with today's interesting session and learn more about the control of sewage generation. Yes students, what you should do to control the sewage generation. Now there are few measures that we can adopt to control generation of sewage, like use flushes with low capacity. Here you can see one of the equipment which is actually helpful in the control of sewage generation. So students, as I said before, that the first step is, if your plumber is not available, then a good alternative is that you add solution to the in small quantities in the drainage, so that it can help in anti-clogging. The last step is to start initial sanitizing our home, and for this we need to make use of countless mops and tissue papers. So we also need a few liters of disinfectants, and in addition to this we also need to dispose of some assets and that has been damaged and cannot be repaired. There are also some agencies and companies that provide cleanup and plumbing services for such occurrences, right? So every person has to think that how we can control the generation of sewage. First, we saw that use flushes with low capacity. Then never pour household products such as cleansers, beauty products, medicine, automobile oil and paint down the drain, and otherwise it will clog the drain, and you will then have to add many solutions to anti-clog it. Then these contain chemicals. These all products contain chemicals which the wastewater treatment plants may not be able to remove. So this should be properly disposed. Other than these, excess cooking oil, butter, meat, fats and plastic should also be disposed of in the garbage can, right? But not in the sewage or the gutter, because these materials can clog pipes and they could cause sewage to overflow in our home or in public areas. Yes, one more thing which we have to keep in mind is to fix leakages in the sewer pipes, because these leaks can contaminate the drinking water and it can leak into the water table. So what will happen? That it can also flow into the yard, and it can be the breeding place of disease-causing insects such as flies, cockroaches and mosquitoes. So remember students, if you can't do, you will actually have to do this. But if you can't do, and if there are major problems, then there are some agencies and companies that provide actually the cleanup plumbing services for such occurrences, for the major occurrences. But these small steps, that we only have to take it. Okay, we only have to make an initiative to control the sewage generation. So there are many agencies which can locate the problem that has been caused, and it can find a permanent solution for it. So the only way to minimize the probability of such a sewage backup is to keep the drains free from debris, which we have discussed, and occasionally use an anti-clogging solution or any disinfectant. So in this way we can control sewage generation. Right, so we are through with the topic of sewage generation. Now let us see that which are the alternative methods of sewage disposal. So this is our another main topic which we need to discuss. So let us discuss about it. Yes students, alternative methods of sewage disposal. Students, in semi-urban areas, low-cost on-site disposal system. Low-cost on-site disposal system is encouraged to manage the waste, and one such method is disposing the waste in the septic tanks. So students, you will be very surprised to know that nearly 30% of the homes in many countries depend on on-site wastewater treatment and disposal, and this percentage has remained constant over the last 2 decades. So isn't it astonishing, right? This percentage has remained constant over the last 2 decades, and then also it is expected to remain relatively constant in the future. So basically I'm saying that on-site sewage disposal is currently and will continue to be an important sewage disposal method for many countries, and it is estimated that up to 1/2 of all the septic systems do not perform satisfactorily or fail entirely within the expected range or expected range, right? So the failure rate is estimated to be some percent systems per year, and so we should keep in mind that but the government should keep in mind that how these methods of sewage disposal can be used, because failing on-site systems threaten ground and surface water quality in many areas, causing water quality degradation, health hazards, disease outbreaks and lower property values. So nationally, septic tank septic tank design is the most frequently resorted cause of groundwater contamination and consumption of contaminated groundwater. So basically, septic tank leak must be kept in mind, and it should be fixed, right? Because groundwater is responsible for over 50% of all the people, and if it is contaminated, then what will happen? Yes, it will cause the diseases, because it is actually causing the waterborne disease outbreaks. So approximately 60% of the households will receive the drinking water from groundwater sources, and lack of affordable and effective on-site sewage disposal is a national issue as well as the state issue. Even less than 35% of the land in the US is so stable for conventional septic tank, which is the soil absorption system, and the limitations and failure rate of current on-site practice have spurred the search for alternative on-site technologies. So this study discussion is the recent research on the alternative on-site technologies and alternative on-site policy. Right? So this is one such alternative method of sewage disposal, and that is disposing the waste in septic tanks and the low-cost on-site disposal system. And if there is any leak in this on-site disposal system, definitely there will be contamination in the water, and many waterborne disease outbreaks will occur. So this should be taken seriously at a national level. Right? So this is one such figure of the on-site disposal system. This is the picture of the on-site disposal system. Right, here you can see that there is surface scum, as we discussed in the wastewater treatment plant, that the particles which float, which are at the top, are the scum, and which are at the bottom are the sediment or the sludge. What do we call? We also call it as sludge. This is the inlet from which the wastewater will go in, and this is the hatch which will not let it out. So basically the most common on-site treatment system is the septic tank, also known as the soil absorption system. And this system consists of a septic tank, a large watertight container which is present in the picture, and a soil absorption field, a series of buried perforated pipe, and this system performs two functions, that is treatment as well as disposal. So remember this, students, that the system performs two functions. First is the treatment and the disposal. So the septic tank removes large solids and greases and provides biological treatment. And the soil absorption field, it provides further treatment and final disposal. Try to recall, students, which we studied the wastewater treatment plant. First process, the primary process treatment. Primary treatment is the mechanical treatment. Secondary treatment is the biological treatment, in which we studied about the sludge and scum. And then there is the tertiary treatment, right, which is a chemical treatment. So here we are talking about the septic tank, which is the biological treatment, just like the secondary treatment of the wastewater plant. So the soil absorption field provides the further treatment and final disposal, where septic tanks are very helpful. So basically, you will be amazed to know that septic tanks were originally developed in 18th century and have changed little over the past century. So a septic tank is a large watertight container approximately of 1000 gallons, which generally is buried slightly below the surface of the round adjacent to the building it is serving, and in the tank solids settle to the bottom and fats and greases collect in a layer on the liquid surface, which is called as surface scum. So the outlet of the tank is constructed so that the liquid is discharged from the layer between the solids and the scum, and the solids and scum are then dumped from the tank approximately every 3 years. That is why it is said to be the low-cost on-site disposal system, right? So in a properly functioning septic tank, an anaerobic microorganisms. Anaerobic means which do not need oxygen to survive. So these anaerobic microorganisms act to treat or stabilize the contaminants in the wastewater and the soil absorption field. It consists of a series of perforated distribution pipelines which are placed on the trenches, and they are many feet wide and they are deep. So the perforated pipe is placed in the layer of gravel and the trench is covered with the topsoil, and effluent from the septic tank flows down the pipes out the perforations and is absorbed by the surrounding soil. So here, which you can see the figure, brown color is the soil, right? So effluent from the septic tank flows down the pipes out the perforations and it is absorbed by the surrounding soil. After that, the organic material which is present in the effluent is absorbed and treated by microorganisms in the soil below the distribution trenches. So in this way, the septic tank, which is a soil absorption system, works, and the treated water then percolates into the groundwater or it evaporates. Right? So basically, we can say that other than this method of on-site disposal system, there is another method of waste disposal which is prevalent especially in village and small towns in India, and they are setting up, and that is the setting up of the biogas plants. So other than this disposal system, there is one more system which is prevalent in villages, and that is biogas plants. Now in this method, human and animal excreta flow through the covered drains into the biogas plants. Right? So this way these biogas plants work. And what other thing happens in the biogas plants? The microorganisms break down the materials which are present in the waste and they produce the biogas, and then this biogas is used to produce electricity. So here you can see one more beautiful picture of a septic tank, and you can see here this is a soil, the surrounding soil. This is the septic tank which works very well with the treatment with the drain field, and rest of the clean water or the clarified water will go into the groundwater. Right? So in this way, the biogas and the on-site disposal system, which is a soil absorption system, works. So this was the alternative methods of sewage disposal. Right? Now we will switch on to the next topic, that is the case study of Celeb Sanitation. So let us see that what it means. Yes students, case study of Celeb Sanitation. Students, Celeb International is an organization that is working towards promoting environmental sanitation and waste management in India. So this is a very good initiative, and here you can see the Celeb toilet complex. This is the toilet complex, which is actually an initiative. This is an organization that is working towards the promoting environmental sanitation and waste management in India. So this was the initiative taken in 1970. Since 1970, innovations have been done in erecting 2 pit flush toilets and safe methods of human waste disposal technology, generating non-conventional sources of energy. Non-conventional sources of energy means the sources of energy which can be renewed, right? Which are excessively available, and they can be renewed and they can be used, like the tidal energy or sun energy for the thermal energy. Sorry, not the thermal energy, but sun's energy, right? And in October 2007, Celeb designed a system of cheap toilets that recycles human wastes into biogas and fertilizers. So how amazing it is, right? Here you can see one more beautiful picture of the Celeb Sanitation. This is the Celeb effluent treatment technology, where sand filter, you can see the sand filter, aeration tank, carbon filter, right? So for this, the founder of Celeb, Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak, here you can see a picture of a man standing with a flask, right? He is the man who took the initiative. He was the founder of Celeb International Organization, Dr. Bindeshwar Pathak, and he has been awarded the Stockholm Water Prize of 2009. Right? So he was the man who came up with this idea, who came up with this initiative of building an organization that worked towards the environmental sanitation and waste management in India. Right? So we should salute, we should say hats off, we should do hats off to this man. Right? So other than this, we also need to discuss one more topic which is very important from the wastewater management point of view, and that is vermi-composting toilets. Students, vermi-composting toilets have been developed in India as an alternative method for proper disposal of waste. Now, as we discussed the proper disposal of waste methods, and they were the on-site disposal system, which is the disposing the waste in the septic tanks. In the same way, this is also an alternative method for the proper disposal of waste called as vermi-composting toilets. Now in this system, what happens that it is based on an innovative design in which earthworms are used to convert human excreta into compost. And you know very well that compost or manure is very useful. It acts as a fertilizer. So there is a minimal use of water and is a safe and hygienic way of processing the human waste, which is converted into compost, and this compost then can be utilized as a fertilizer for growing crops. So this is also a very innovative way to dispose of the waste properly. Right, so this is the end of our session 3. We are through with the disposal system and the control of sewage generation. In the next session, we will discuss about the problems which are faced due to improper management of sewage. Right? So students, don't miss the next session. We'll meet in the next session with this important new topic. Till then, keep learning, keep enjoying, and have a nice time.